Alright everyone, tonight is the deck profile. I've had at least 100 requests for this anti-meta deck profile. It is, I don't know, it's a little bit different. I'm going to be doing both versions. I haven't actually changed the main deck really between a few weeks ago when you saw me upload the videos and last week, except for the side deck, and I will explain why the side deck has changed and kind of what decks caused me to change it. So, and I'll show you the extra, even though you really don't ever need your extra, but whatever. We'll just talk about it. Okay, let's start off with the monsters. I'm going to probably run through explanations of each, so a lot of you can understand why I made my choices, because some of you will think that you have your own little fantastic ideas like Penguin Soldier, and although he is good, I'll explain why some things were chosen. First off, Thunder King, big beater, goes to 2400 with Seal of Orichalcos, has just a really good presence out there with Boojins and, you know, Prophecies, Fire Fist, whatever. And I don't really want to cut him, but I do need to find room for another monster, and I need to find a room for a third one of this guy. Evil Storm Thunderbird. If you guys watch me play against Steve, or really the last tournament in April, you will see this guy cause a lot of disruption. So I really kind of want to run 3. The only problem is you can only use the effect once per turn. His specific effect of, you know, banishing and coming back and so forth. So as far as I'm told, and I could be wrong, you can't run away with 2 of these at the same time and bring them back. So kind of not sure if I want to run to 3 of that yet. This is one of the MVPs of the deck, is Banisher of the Radiance. Love this guy. If anybody has any extra ulti first, well, just ultis, especially if they're ulti first Germans, let me know. I like to trade for them, but I can buy them for 20 bucks or so. I even provided a guy with links, so maybe 22, 23 trade, something, but I don't have high-end stuff much anymore for trade. I also run 1 DD War Lady. I would say out of all the monsters, she's the weakest, but she gets rid of so many things because damage step, they can't do certain things. As far as I know, she doesn't target, so that's nice. She gets rid of BLs and problem monsters. Just a really good all-around monster. Balsadina, definitely huge pain. You bring that out early with a Seal of Orichalcos and 3 back row or more, and you'd be surprised how long it lasts. If you guys watch the duels, you'll see this 1700 Falsadina was just absolutely amazing, and I would only run 3. So to me, you can't run anything less than these cards. She's kind of a tech choice if you want. Next would be Grand Mole. He is an absolute necessity in the deck because he doesn't target, he bounces instead of destroys. And of course there's the Moloch. You watch some duels of mine, you'll see me Moloch people. And I'm not really doing much else. I'm attacking with 1 and Moloching with the other. And then I only run 2 Kark RD. I used to run 3 and that's still fine. I don't see any problem with that. But you also want to have some balance. If you open up with like 3 or 4 monsters in your opening move, you're probably going to lose unless your opponent's playing a little bit slow. So I wouldn't recommend too many monsters, so that's why I don't run 3 of certain things. It's not because they're not good at 3, it's just because you don't want to ever draw too many monsters at once. You will lose those duels, most likely. Next, you want to keep the back row clear, so triple MST. And I'll talk more about this in the side deck, but these are not enough. When you're running up against Girgia, they run 18 to 20 traps. It's just not enough. Dark Hole, and it's kind of scary to run that card. You usually just want to use it when you're in a really bad spot. You don't want to kill your Banishers. You definitely don't want to kill your Fossil Dinas. But sometimes you just kind of have to clear the board. 3 dualities because you need consistency and you don't ever special. Yes, there's an extra deck you'll see right here, but if you use it, you're probably in a really bad spot and you're most likely going to lose that anyway. Seal with 1 terraforming. There's no reason to run 2. You can only play it once per duel. So if it gets MST when it's played or negated, you're SOL. There's no reason to mess around with it. 1 D Fisher because you can only run 1. 3 lances. I would say that is a must. I would not run 2 because it is definitely a card. You have to protect the monster that is out there. You have to make sure that your summons are successful. Warning's warning, but other than that, and you paying 2,000, I'm happy with they pay 2,000. And 1 Book of Moon. Book of Moon is great just because it's a good defensive card. If they're main decking Decree, which is a major problem. I ran in that against that zombie hero deck. Irish was main decking Decrees, and that just really killed. Book of Moon's a good defensive card. And then, of course, if you could happen to flip your Fossil Dynas down, that's always pretty funny. Okay, Double Mirror Force. You're pretty much making sure that every time they attack, you're going to punish them. Torrential, because you can't really play Kaiser Coliseum in this deck, so you got to have a way to stop swarming. Fossil Dyna does a good job. Thunder King does a pretty good job, but you need something else. So Torrential is really good in here. I recommend it, but I wouldn't say it's a must. You might be able to run other cards. Warning to control big monsters that come out. Exceeds whatever Bottomless and Compulse. I would say try to hold your Compulse as long as you can. BL's is running rampant. Not saying it's in every deck, but there's also a lot of big exceeds, your Draco Sacks and so forth. And D-Prison, love that card. I'm starting to really like this card again. I might find a way to put it in 2, just because, once again, BL, Stardust, whatever. Cards that can't be destroyed. It's wonderful. The 3 Fiendish Chains, try to hold them as much as you can. Wait till the right opportunity to activate them. Don't just play them on the first whim. Something happens. 1 Macro. If you can get this card early and keep it out, you're probably going to win, because all the best decks they don't really do well without a graveyard. They kind of use their graveyard as their second field. I run 1 Magic Cylinder, and it's probably the weakest out of all my traps. If not second weakest, something like that, I would say, because it's usually what I side out when I go into my side deck. But boy, having somebody at 2,500 or higher attack you and get cylindered, most likely they're not going to lance the cylinder, because then the attack would actually go through, and then they're probably too small for the monster they attacked. Or they're just, I don't know. They usually don't lance this, so I would recommend it. 1 Vanity's Emptiness. What's great about this card that a lot of people don't realize is when you have macro out or your banisher's out. The banisher means that they have to actually kill this card. One of Vanity's Emptiness weaknesses is that if you MST or destroy another card in the field and it goes to the grave, then Vanity's Emptiness is destroyed. But because nothing ever goes to the grave with banisher or macro out, they would actually have to destroy this, so it's actually a plus. You're not actually losing 2 cards at once. Really good. And then the most annoying card in the deck, maybe besides Mole, is this. I know that you're like, well, they'll just destroy it. Lila's not played that much. Raiko's not played that much. They may get later, but you're already going to win that matchup against Lightsworn anyway. So really, MSTs, maybe a Scrap Dragon, something like that is going to be a problem. But this card's usually going to stay out. They will MST this over a macro or a D-Fisher. You'd be surprised. I might even put an extra one in my side. Okay, so that's the main deck. I don't think I need any more explanations for that. Here is the extra deck. This is not exactly all the cards, but here's the... we'll do side deck first. I run 2. These are just some of the cards I ran for a while. The reason Scarecrow works with Macro Banisher is it doesn't have to go to the grave. So it's such a good card, which I'm divulging a little bit of what could be run against me, but it's okay. Prohibition, calling like MST, really good, or Decree. Usually is not the greatest idea, but just Prohibition is just a good card to run in this side deck, because I'll show you in a minute with the Decrees. Twister, Spell Shattering, mainly in there. Spell Shattering is good against obviously Fire Fist, or just lots of decks that are problematic. Twister's a little better. I'd probably run 2 Twister now, just because of the Decrees or the whatever. Another Vanity's Emptiness times 2. If you can stop them specialing and swarming, you're gonna probably win. And then there's times where Fiendish Chain isn't good enough. you need to stop the actual monster from being on the field, like Yamato, they can just exceed out of the Fiendish Chain or whatever. I'd recommend running these. There's plenty of other cards I used to run. These are just some kind of the key ones I would look at if I were you. And then here's the new side deck, mainly because Gear Gear runs so many traps I couldn't kill the monsters and lock them out of their plays. You know, if you can keep their graveyard clear, Gear Gears do okay. You know, they can handle it. They don't have to have a graveyard, but some of their plays are even more broken with a graveyard. So what I did was I ran the deck to shut down most traps. So I run Genzo, and then I'll go ahead and show you the traps here. I run 2 stuns and 3 decrees. So what I do is I side into those cards, and then I also have a Cyber Dragon in case I run into Gear Gia or just whatever, any machines. I run the Twisters, the 3 Kaisers, so, or excuse me, I guess there's only 2 Kaisers. You might want to look at 3. But really what it is you don't have your emptinesses to stop the special summoning, and you know, you lose most of your traps. Because the number you side into these 6 cards and then your spells, you can't actually get rid of all your traps. You run too many. So you're actually going to be running these with traps. It's kind of silly. And you don't have Fiendish Chains, so you run Chalices. You can run 2. And you've got to have a way to stop attacks. So there's not a lot of spells that do that. You can run enemy controllers. But I'd rather get rid of the monster, make sure I get rid of it, so I run 3 Shrinks. Shrinks will shock the crap out of people, and it really screws up Bujin with Crane combo. Puts them right back at 18. You know, or 19, whatever, Mikazuchi. So, that is the side. It's just kind of a rough, what I'm doing right now. I'm not saying this is locked down, you have to run this exact thing, but this is a really good way to run decrees and trap stuns or whatever, or if you run into somebody that's already running that stuff, then you can, you know, you don't have to put in the decrees and trap stuns, you would have more room for other things. Sorry, that's my alarm. The extra deck's just a bunch of 4s and a couple 3s or whatever. It's nothing serious. There's just 4s. I mean, I just grabbed some 4s. You can run Ophion instead of Master Key Beetle if you want for the 2 Thunderbirds, especially if you run 3. Pappy, Shark, Direwolf, Exciting, Roach. Roach is actually really good in Heretics. Maestro, Chain, Dweller, Cowboy, Engineer, which I absolutely love. I like him better than Zen Mains. And then Chimera Tech, because you run the Cyber Dragon, and sometimes you might run into a Cyber Dragon deck. But if you notice, I just ran stuff that was shiny. DT, you know, ulti this and ulti that. It was just fun. I've never gone into any of it yet. I've never needed to. There's been a couple times where I kind of wanted to, but then I just kind of let the plays go and let it run out. So let me see if I can try to do this real quick, see if I can remember how to do this correctly. Okay, so there's the Shrinks. What I'm doing here is I'm going to show you what to do for side decking when you want to go into this decree setup. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay the top over the cards that I put in when I do the trap stuff. So, gosh, it's been a while. Alright, so we go Scarecrow. Off camera, okay, Emptiness for Swarming. Actually, I think I keep Macro, because if I can get it out, then it's pretty BA. Okay, Mirror Force, Torrential. Warning, you definitely don't want to be stuck with. Bottomless. And I think I do. Yeah, Trapstone. Okay, so, and then if you want, you can just take out those 3, and the only one you really keep is Macro. So as you can see, and then all the cards underneath you would throw in there. So that's what you do. You just take out every trap you can. I actually didn't realize it was that many. So, alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope this helps. I hope this is a little bit of an education on anti-meta and the fact that, you know, your big combos or whatever back row you have, and a Thunderbird, maybe a T-King and a Banisher. You know, a Falsadina, a Banisher sometimes is enough. Mole with a Falsadina can be enough. These combos can go lots of different ways, but your key 2 cards, if you had to pick 2, are Falsadina and Banisher. It stops the swarming. Banisher really stops a lot of other decks from doing anything. You know, they can't discard Maxi, Veiler. Oh, it's Maxi's stupid against your deck, but sometimes they'll try to do it anyway because they think Thunderbird specials, but whatever. They can't. Most decks just fall apart with Banisher on the field. And then if you can get a Thunderbird, if you can get those 3 monsters out at the same time, you're going to do really, really well. I hope you guys enjoyed. Click that like button and comment below. Let me know what else you guys want me to show. I'm willing to do some more deck profiles. Prio's coming up. The sneak peek is this weekend, and then next week is the release, and I will be doing my opening with Steve, and we will, if you'd like, we can start showing some decks with the new cards. They may not be play tested, but we can show you our ideas. And then also I'd like to hear what you guys think about what cards are going to be coming up in Battle Pack 3, since we know now that Excite Night is going to be in there. Thanks, guys.